What's going on? Welcome to the show. It is your boy Devon and Chaz with the Showtime Forum post-game show. Game 3. It was a rough one.
Man.
And we are here to be your therapist. Now, I made a declaration in the Showtime Forum Slack today. I said, listen, man, this is a day that I need Chaz to have full reign. So what I'm going to do is while you guys are jumping in the chat, I already see you guys. James Michael, welcome to the chat. Anakat Mohan, I see you guys. Just go ahead and flood it with the energy. I'm going to let Chaz start it off. No points. We're going to keep the same energy as game 2. So Chaz, tell me, talk to me. What's going on?
Let's get it out. I'm going to be kind of like my own therapist. Actually, y'all are going to be my therapist tonight. Like, this is for all of us. Showtime Forum post-game show. It's not just for you guys. It's for me. It's an outlet for me to be able to get out how I feel. So, you know what? We were due. I'll say that. We were due. For as bad as we played in the seeding games leading up to the playoffs, was a cause for concern.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, our bench, as well as our starters, has been able to play with great energy. And for whatever reason, they brought zero energy tonight. No one did. Not even the bench. And I thought that there was a window. There was a moment in time that Vogel could have stopped the bleeding, or at least switched up the energy a little. Like, you can see it early, right? I'm not an NBA coach, but if I could see it, you could see it, and anybody else could see that Dwight Howard, the guy who's brought the most energy for the Lakers, outside of probably Anthony Davis himself, but as far as bench guys, it's been Rondo and Dwight. And Dwight brought great energy, specifically in game 1. Game 2, he brought great energy as well. And tonight he tried, but it just was to no avail because Vogel waited too long to be able to put Dwight in to counteract what Jokic was doing. Jokic just came out and was a man on a mission. And I liked what Chris Webber said in the broadcast in terms of the Denver Nuggets feeding off of Jokic's energy. Mm-hmm. Even when Jokic went out the game, the lead was increased because the tone was set. The energy was supplanted on the Nuggets side. And the Lakers had nobody to be able to match that level of energy. That only person would have been Dwight. And by the time Dwight was already in the game, he had already sauced up AD, moved JaVale out of the way, and said, bring it on, Dwight. And Dwight brought it on, and it was to no avail. So I love the fight. I love the energy to be able to come back and battle back from 20 down. That is the silver lining. But we knew that about this team. We know that we could win any type of game, whether it be slow, fast, shooting, inside, whatever it may be. But tonight we just didn't have the energy overall. And ultimately it just did us in. Rondo brought us back to kill us again. He played terrible. And then brought the energy and got key steals and outlets to LeBron and swings over. But there were two – last thing, I'll turn it over to you. But there were two really key plays in that comeback in the fourth quarter that really derailed us. And number one would be that fast break that I believe Caruso got a steal and Rondo had the ball. Rondo gave it to AD. It was a 3-on-1 break. Kuz was on the other side. And AD decided to throw it back to Rondo, and it just went out of his hands and went out of bounds. And
momentum stopper, yeah.
A momentum stopper. And then somehow we got back. It was 95-99. And then LeBron – it was 101-98. Sorry, my notes right here. And LeBron came up, gave it to Kuz. Kuz was wide open, hesitated. Thought he was going to pass it to the corner, shot the wing shot. It was short. And that just killed momentum. And then from there, Jamal Murray was able to, sauce up Caruso on a few great threes. I mean, you got to commend the guy for being able to have the heart that he does and playing like he does. But I don't like you dancing. I don't like you dancing when you down 2-1. Dame danced. Russ cussed out the whole family section. Now you back dancing. When have y'all ever going to learn that LeBron and AD is going to come for y'all in game 4? I'm not worried series-wise. I really wanted to be able to really sweep these guys, to be able to just get that much more confidence going into the finals. But I initially thought my initial pick for this series was Lakers in 5. I got a little boastful after game 1 and said Lakers in 4. And I was wrong about that, obviously, but it's looking more like game 5. But here's my thing. And I know I said I was going to turn it back to you, but here's another thing.
Take your time, brother.
Because we ain't got no points, so I'm just getting it out. Another thing, I said on the podcast that we dropped earlier today. Check out the Showtime Forum podcast with myself and Chris Camello. Some great points on there. I said on that podcast last night that we reported that if the Lakers didn't go up 3-0, then this could go 6 or 7. And I'm scared that I might be right on that.
Okay.
Because the Nuggets have all the confidence in the world. Like, they know they can beat us in the playoffs. Not in the series, but they know they could get one. They got 1 or 2 more wins in them, for sure. So it's going to get dicey. This Thursday night game is going to be 3-1 versus 2-2 is a big difference. And no one's ever come back from 3-0. That's why it was so important to go up 3-0 on this team. And I kept saying it over and over last post game, but blame pride. I blame the players more than anything because they're the ones that's playing and didn't bring the energy. But I blame Vogel a lot more for this loss than I did in any other loss that he had in the playoffs because he just saw. I knew he saw it. If I could see it, you could see it, he could see it.
Yeah. And
to not act on it and get cute in game 3 by staying small when Jokic is just terrorizing both your big guys just wasn't the thing to do. So that's my main takeaway. I turn it over to you now, brother.
Listen, I everything you said, man, it all made sense. I want to ask you a question before I jump into the comments. Should Vogel start with Howard in the next game? Or should he adjust the current plan and maybe bring him in a little bit quicker than he normally would? What's your idea for how game 4 should go?
See, he dilly-dallying in this gray area, right? Like he started Dwight in the second half already, twice. He's talked with the media about taking JaVale out of the starting lineup. You're staying in this gray area where you're still starting JaVale, but then starting Dwight in the second half. You haven't made a commitment. You haven't made a decision, right? You're just kind of going with the flow. And that's actually affecting both players, to be honest. JaVale more so than Dwight. Dwight's been able to bring more energy, but from JaVale's standpoint, JaVale has had a terrible series, in my opinion.
True.
And just name me one impactful play that JaVale has had in the series. Like, you can't tell me one. Like, you can give me some numbers or some stats and maybe a plus minus, but you can't tell me an impactful play that JaVale has made down the stretch in any of the games this series. And that's due to this gray area that Vogel has decided to stay in because he knows Dwight is better than JaVale in this series, specifically, but just won't go to Dwight full time to start the game, or go to AD and go small and bring in Kuz to start the game, or even Markieff Morris. He's not doing that. So he needs to make a decision. He needs to stand a little bit more firm and just coach a little better. That's it.
Agreed, man. I to be honest with you, a few things stuck out to me about tonight. Everything you said, I'm feeling the same way you're feeling about Dwight. It's very interesting to watch the dynamic of how the lineups are shifting, because now you're starting to see him go into this non-continuity place where we kind of saw in the Rocket series what it was going to be. Once you figured out the formula, run with it. But what I did see that made me pretty concrete about what's going to happen in the next game were two major factors. Number one, he switched to the zone, and when he switched to the zone, it threw off Denver completely. And that's when you started seeing the run happen for the Lakers. The issue was, if you notice, as soon as they started doing the zone and getting out on these breaks, it was great. We were getting out there, energy was out there, and all of that, but they were gassed. They were completely gassed by the time they were able to do that. If you reverse that and think about just kind of how the first couple of, well, really game one went, we were able to kind of get out there, establish a lead. We squandered a lead, especially like in the second game too, but the energy was put up front. And then you were able to withstand the run within the second and third quarters, and then get your win back in the fourth and settle it down. And so he kind of went the opposite way today, where he allowed them to get the momentum in the beginning, and then in the third, really in the fourth, we started to get our momentum back. But by that time, we were already gassed. So I think that the revelation of the zone has really just kind of been the bread and butter. The issue with the zone is, if you commit to doing the zone, you cannot have JaVale start. JaVale can't play the zone. So you have to have a small like a Markieff, or you have to have a Dwight who's going to make up his mind that he's going to stick to Jokic and make that zone work. But at this point, we knew it was going to be at least one game that was a possibility to drop. And if there was going to be a game they were going to drop, it was going to be Game 3, because of what you said. Going down 0-3, if you're the Nuggets, there's no way you're coming back from that. So they're going to fight tooth and nail, like I said, as an elimination game tonight. And they did it. And the Lakers, they had LeBron had a sloppy triple-double. I know he was able to make some moves tonight, and he had 10 rebounds. But what really scares me, and I think somebody even put this in here, the bigs pretty much only had 4 rebounds between all the bigs. Okay, against a team where Jokic literally can't jump, and your strength is your size. For LeBron James to out-rebound all of your bigs put together times 2. For Danny Green to have as many rebounds as all of your bigs put together kind of lets you know the hesitancy of going inside and really just allowing the Nuggets to exploit our lack of effort, our lack of energy. You saw it in the paint. I think the game changes and shifts when the big guys are in the block getting the offensive rebounds. Just think about this tonight. One of the reasons why I'm not too worried is I don't think Jeremy Grant's going to have 26 points in the next game. I just don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, he's not going to have that. But the question is, are you going to allow Jamal Murray and Paul Millsap to have 8 rebounds apiece? That's 16 rebounds. That means they rebounded all 3 of your bigs times 4. That's crazy, right? That you can't let that happen. And I think that's going to be one of the major adjustments that he makes. Michael Porter Jr. had 6 rebounds. Torrey Craig had 6 rebounds. And then look at these offensive rebound numbers. Jokic with 3 offensive rebounds. Murray with 2. Millsap had 1. Plumlee had 1. Porter had 1. Craig had. So everybody was getting an offensive rebound. Now, if that happens, of course you're going to lose the game. In fact, it would have been a blowout had it been a longer or a more established big team. And so what we saw tonight was they took advantage of our lack of effort. And by the time they got it going, it was too late for us to make a comeback that really surmounted to anything. And you said it. In those kind of tight moments where it's, you're building and you're making a run and you're doing things, those small moments where you're on a break and AD just overthinks it, as opposed to just going in and dunking it, getting a possible and one, really shifting the momentum. If instead of doing that, you let all the air out of the bag, and you kind of felt it from that point on. Anything that we did wasn't going to surmount to that moment, and so we messed it up. So I'm going to throw some things at you from your people, okay? These are your people. James Michael says, glad we fought back, just need to play with energy. So James Michael on Periscope is basically saying tonight was kind of what you said, an energy thing. Now, with that being said, if the Nuggets are feeling energy as well as, and we're feeling energy, it's going to be a clash of energy. So in your mind, do we need to do above and beyond what we normally do, or do we just need to come out and play Laker ball, and will that be enough to take Game 4?
Just play fierce to come out the game. They just played, I did like, LeBron to start the game. I believe it was a 10-2 run to start the game. But then from there, they just completely just an avalanche of just not even – Anthony Davis had 2 rebounds for the game. He had 0 rebounds at the 9-minute mark left to go. No, he didn't have any rebounds through 3 quarters. I don't think he got his first rebound until like 7 or 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter and finished with 1 more after that. That can't happen.
No.
That can't happen. I mean, I know Denver shot the ball well, but I mean, it wasn't so well to the point where you couldn't get yourself any rebounds at all. I mean, they shot 54% from the field. That's a lot. I mean, that's pretty high. if they're going to shoot 54% from the field, we shot 51, but at the same time, that they got to the line more than us. They shot 29 times. We only shot 22. So it's just it's a numbers game, but it's an energy game.
Absolutely.
It's all about bringing the energy, and we just and flat out, without getting into plus minus and PER and stats and rebounds and turnovers and fouls and zone and whatever the hell else, you have to be able to match the energy of your opponent, and that's just the bottom line.
Absolutely.
Everything else will just fall into place from there. We just didn't have it. We didn't bring it tonight. I don't know what it was. Maybe still riding the high off that buzzer beater. It's been a lot of talk. It's been a lot of stuff on social media. It's been a lot of posts. It's been a lot of stuff. So, still no reason not to focus and not handle your business. So, but I do like the silver lining in it is I do like the fight and coming back from down 20 and making it a completely different ball game. But
yeah, absolutely.
But more than anything, I'm worried about Kuz.
I was just getting ready to ask you about that.
I'm worried about up here because him hesitating like that and passing up a wide open shot in the middle of a deep run that we needed in order to force momentum our way. Him hesitating and making that shot or not taking that shot and then taking it, as an afterthought. I didn't like that.
Something weird. Yeah, and everybody's talking about it. AO Snack says Kuzma sold. He's off of him completely. There were some other comments where people were saying that it's a focus issue for Kuz. And I'm gonna be honest. We've kind of seen Kuz have his ups and downs. It is what it is. But I don't think the game was lost because of Kuz. Kuz was not the difference tonight. But he could have made a difference had he been the Kuz that we saw earlier in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When LeBron is turnover prone, AD's not getting rebounds. The active Kuz that we need was not present tonight. Now he had a couple of moments. He had a couple of cuts. He had 11 points. And this is where it gets weird. This is what I was saying before. What I was saying before was I would rather have Kuz have 9 points and 8 rebounds than to have 11 points and like he had tonight, 1 rebound and 1 assist because he's able to, when he's active in the paint like that, it opens up the entire game. And so for him to have 11 points is one thing, but for him to have 11 points and only have 1 rebound, if we're 26 minutes, let me just throw that out there. He almost played starter minutes tonight. We need more. There was just no activity inside that paint. He wasn't alone, but those are moments that you need Kuz to be consistent. If he doesn't explode for 20 points, at least give us like 8, 9 rebounds that we can rely on. Rondo did his thing tonight, and we can talk a little bit about that. Rondo was really the majority of the spark to that run that we had 3 steals, I think, in a matter of like 2 minutes. And you said it. He was the reason why we got back into it, and then the reason we got back out of it. So what do we expect from Rondo in this next game? What do we want from him?
And he's got to play better defense. He was just out of position all the time.
Constantly.
Like that backdoor cut from Millsap down the stretch with maybe 2-3 minutes left to go in the game. And Rondo's, just leaves Millsap literally right up under the basket, and Jamal Murray just finds him. And that was just another momentum stopper. Rondo did have a good stretch and having those key steals, those 3 steals, but he still had 4 turnovers overall and was a minus 13. Had 9 points and shot 40% from the field and shot didn't make a single 3-pointer and missed 2 of the 3 free throws that he took. Rondo was trash tonight. No doubt about it. He had a good stretch, but Rondo was trash tonight. Caruso was trash tonight. Kuzma was trash tonight. Markieff Morris was trash tonight. Not really his fault because he's not getting into a rhythm because Vogel's not playing him. I mean, nobody played well. LeBron had 30, 11, and 10 and was only +2. Didn't really have,
true.
And Anthony Davis played 43 minutes tonight and had 2 rebounds.
Gassed, man.
43 minutes.
Yeah, and that's probably I think that's the highest of the playoffs this year. I don't think he's ever played above 40 minutes like that.
No, and Vogel played him that much because he knew how badly we needed this game, and he knew we could come back, and we did.
Yeah.
But because he knew if he was able to get over this hump and get this game, then game 4, it wouldn't be a wash, but at that point you can kind of exhale a little bit because no one in the history of the NBA has ever come back from 0-3 down. So, but
But what,
it was his own fault because he didn't see the energy. He didn't match energy for energy, and he didn't get Dwight in the game sooner than he should have, and left
but
JaVale in too long.
But maybe that's the key though. Maybe it's actually better that we have this moment that wakes us up to realize that we are now really just slightly separated from the same predicament the Clippers were in, where you were clearly in control and the Nuggets started having a comeback. This to me is where the Lakers can really prove dominance as an older team that has leadership. They obviously got outplayed tonight. You said it. Almost everybody on the court was trash. Even the triple double didn't really count. And I'm sure LeBron would give that triple double away if it meant that they could have won Game 3. I think everybody knew Game 3 was important. But I think this is good to walk into Game 4 knowing that it's only a 2-1 lead. Expect the Lakers. My expectation is they come out with the energy as though they are on the ropes now, even though they're up. And the finals are right down the street, man. You're talking about 6 wins until the championship. To let it all slip away because you don't have any energy, that's just unacceptable. And tonight was, I'll give them a pass on this. This is the only thing I'm giving a pass on. They were not ready for Denver's energy, and Coach Vogel did not give them the ability to ride the synergy of the rotations. And because of that, people were in there too long, and then when people were in there too long, they were committing silly fouls.
Yes.
Dwight Howard came in, and you could see him chomping at the bit. Dwight Howard came in and gave you the spark that you needed. Having that in the beginning,
as soon as he got in the game, he had that live.
He was in there, dude. And matter of fact, the foul he ended up getting, and then that stupid tech he got because he wasn't even mad, he just threw the ball up. But him going after Jokic and putting pressure, and then he really was chasing down a steal. That level of energy changes the entire course of the game. It's actually what we used to praise Caruso for or Avery Bradley for when they would pick up full court or they would do these things playing the Clippers. It was a tone setter when Avery Bradley picked off Beverly full court and then went back and started clapping and talking. That's the energy that Dwight is bringing right now is what Avery Bradley had in that Clipper game. Right? So having that out the gate sets the tone, and I think you're going to see a change from Vogel. Let me throw this at you. DL Johnson on Periscope said, man, that was brutal, but not unexpected. Lakers in 5. Now, I know we're probably away. We're backing up off of calling numbers of games after tonight, but do you see the Lakers being able to make the necessary adjustments to win 2 more?
Absolutely. We don't lose 2 in a row.
Okay.
Especially in the playoffs. So we have a really big problem if we lose this next game on Thursday, especially after Jamal Murray danced on us after he shot it off of the moon, from the moon. So I believe the Lakers are 2-0 after the opposing team dances or cusses out the family section. And I anticipate the Lakers, specifically Anthony Davis and LeBron James, to come in and handle their business early.
Yeah,
get this over with.
Come on, man.
Get your butt to the finals. Go ahead and get that Western Conference trophy.
Come on.
And handle business.
Bro. Come on.
And that's really it. That's really it. Oh, Kuzma's trending. Kuzma's trending right now.
Oh, yeah, he definitely is.
Why is he trending?
Everybody's eating him alive. Everybody's eating him alive. If I'm not mistaken. Everybody eating him alive. Everybody eating him alive, man. And that's fine. Like I said, I said it. We have the greatest fan base. We will praise you when you're doing what you're supposed to do. But you get off track, we will quickly crucify you.
Oh no! Oh,
what we do.
Man, I'm just looking. I'm just reading through this.
Oh, what are they saying? What are they saying?
I got, you got the meme where they just jumping my man. You got the meme. You got the Carlton meme. You got Kyle Kuzma pump fake the wide open shot and then missed. Prayers up for Kyle Kuzma. Hope this man's okay after this car hit him after the game because he's trashed. Like, it's just, Kuzma's not bad. It's in here. That spoke a lot to me. And obviously that spoke a lot to everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's truth.
You don't have to play the game to know the game, right? Like, at a professional level. I mean, I can see it, game, right? Like, I mean, I mean, a lot of us have played the game, but I mean, you don't have to be in the NBA to be able to know that oh man, like somebody's confidence isn't all the way there if they're pump faking a wide open three. So
What were you looking for, Kuzma? That's my question. And for somebody who is like who's been known to just throw it up there. I mean, with two people on him, right?
no,
I
he's trying.
yeah.
He's really trying. He's conscious of himself because he doesn't want to make a mistake, and trying not to make a mistake, he made a mistake
Yeah.
by doing so. So
And
you know,
this is the first time he's been in the playoffs. I just want to throw that out there. So he's never had this level of stakes on the. I mean, what did he have? Summer League championship, I think, was the closest he came to this, right?
yeah, pretty much. I anticipate him playing well next game. I mean, I don't. I think one, two, three. Only three Laker players that played tonight were in plus and plus minus,
That's not good.
and it's LeBron, AD, and JaVale plus two, and plus four.
Chabelle don't count.
You
Listen,
know, so it just they just need to play better. I'm not gonna overreact. I'm still confident. The guys are gonna, we don't lose two in a row, like I said, especially in the playoffs. And it's time to take their will, right? We didn't do that in game two. We haven't played well since the second quarter of game two.
true. We've had spurts, but we haven't done it consistently.
We haven't put together a whole great quarter since the first quarter of game two. Maybe not
And
even.
yeah,
It was still, it
and
was
what's
still
funny
close.
is not playing great and still winning has been a luxury up until this point. Now it's no longer a luxury. Now it's a necessity that you play well.
No. Time out. David, I'm still president of the Coos Hive. You're
Wait,
still a
so
member.
what did David say?
David just sent me a tweet asking, so no more Coos Hive. Look, there's always going to be Coos Hive.
Always.
I gotta be hard on my dog because I know he's about it and I know what he can do. We saw him hit a game winner against this team, albeit in a seeding game in the bubble, but he's capable of that. And I would like to see him shoot the ball freely with confidence, without hesitating, and getting his and playing better defense.
Absolutely.
And making a good play for somebody else.
Yep.
Or getting a rebound and putting a body on somebody. Or maybe not letting Jamal Murray sauce you up on a step back. Like, there's plenty of things you can do other than scoring the ball, and he knows that, and he just needs to get back to doing it. And just didn't have a good game, and it just so happened that a lot of his other teammates didn't have a good game on the same night he didn't have a good game. And sometimes you lose, but
Truth.
like I said, we're still confident. I'm still confident. Just very important that we get this next one.
And in the words of Steve Mason, that 2-0 after the dancing thing is a very saucy stat. I will say this: I've been saying it all year. I have not come off of this. They respond to disrespect. There's something crazy in Rondo that makes him respond to that. We already know how LeBron feels when he feels disrespected just off of voting. Imagine how he feels going back to that hotel room and watching Jamal Murray dance on ESPN. And watching that over and over and over again. They respond differently to disrespect, right? And so that's what you want. You want that. You want that Kobe mentality to come out, right? And so, and once again, I also want to kind of harken back. I tweeted something about when the Lakers had that famous Game 7 where Kobe throws that lob to Shaq, and they complete the comeback when they were down 15 in the fourth quarter. The idea is that when you look at that Kobe and Shaq era, and we look at that definitive moment, we forget that they were up 3-1 in that series, right? And they were getting ready, no joke, they were getting ready to like become one of those. It was going to be a Clipper moment, and they ended up going 7 games. I say all that to say that as dominant as that team was, if the other team comes at you, sometimes those things happen, and it's gonna be way more tense than what you anticipated. And everybody thought they were gonna crip walk through that thing, and they didn't. They ended up having to go 7 games when they were in the middle of an elimination game. They dropped 3, and so that's the thing that we have to understand is that for us, this team that we're dealing with, they're gonna have moments where they drop them. Period. You're not gonna sweep the finals. You're not going to sweep this. Obviously, you're not sweeping this series. So let me throw these questions. I'm missing so many comments. D100 says Braun had a triple-double, but he did not play well. Hamad says, I'm glad we lost because that gives us a lesson.
2-0 after a loss in the playoffs.
Say that again?
We're 2-0 after a loss in the playoffs so
Say
far.
it one more time for the people.
We're 2-0 after a loss in the playoffs so far. Let's go for 3-0 on Thursday.
That should tell us a lot. And mind you, we've already played. Tonight was the 13th game that we've been playing in the playoffs. For this to only be the third loss out of 13 is not bad. I'm just want to just put that out there.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, LeBron didn't turn up until we were down 20. Blake St. Clair says the same thing. Didn't turn up till after the half, and he didn't turn up the intensity until the fourth. So what was the issue with Braun tonight? What are we seeing? Are we seeing fatigue? Are we seeing
his shot just wasn't there? His shot just wasn't there. His touch, his shot, just wasn't there. Everything was either left or short. If you take a look at his misses,
Okay.
He shot 14 of 23 from the field tonight. He actually shot the ball well, but he didn't shoot the ball well from. He only shot 25% from three. His jump shot just wasn't working. A lot of his 14 field goals, I mean, only one of them was a three, and all the rest of them, I'd be willing to bet were layups. I mean, he did hit a couple jumpers on Jeremy Grant on the right wing, but a lot of his shots were either short or left.
Yeah.
And just didn't have the jumper working, and still was able to put up 30 points, but didn't play well because he didn't shoot the ball well, and also, had 6 turnovers.
That's crazy.
My man was just losing the ball left and right, and in the first quarter. So, and as a result, his energy came down. Every time you turn the ball over, it's hard to come back with the same fervor and energy like you didn't turn it over the last couple times down the floor, even if you're LeBron James. So, as a result, when you, like you said, just lets the air out of the bag when you turn the ball over like that. And he had 6 of them.
And it gives the other team, which Denver just killed us on, were transition points. The points off of turnovers that they got tonight was insane. In fact, I forgot to say this, but the team in itself had 16 turnovers. What's funny is the Nuggets had more turnovers than the Lakers, but the amount of points they got off the turnovers made all the difference. And the Lakers that's just bad, right? That's just bad. To have 16 of those, to have 16 turnovers and then have 6 of those come from your star, it's going to be really, really hard to bounce back from that. Here we go. I don't think the Lakers can start Dwight because he keeps getting called for fouls so quickly. That's why Coach starts McGee. Anakat Mohan, I was on the same exact train until tonight. I think, Chaz, you have convinced me that I will take the fouls if you give me the energy and set the tone early.
Yes.
That you just can't get into the paint and do what you want. And so I don't know. Do you think there's going to be a change?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think you have to start Dwight to start the game. He's just bringing the energy more than JaVale. I wouldn't play JaVale at all in the next game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You do like what they did to Dwight in the Rocket series.
Yeah, I mean it's just, if you want to put him in for just to get some extra fouls and give him a blow, then great. But I mean, personally, I don't. What has JaVale brought to the table in this series, realistically?
Yeah.
If you can answer me that, then maybe he'll keep a spot in the rotation. But for now, it's just Jokic is just he's starting the game, and Jokic is just saucing him up.
It's the truth. And here's a hot take. It's very possible that JaVale gives more energy off the bench. And when I say off the bench, I mean actually sitting on the side and feeding energy from the sideline than he actually would on the court. Now, I know that's a hot take, and it probably sounds really disrespectful to an NBA player. But certain games, I think I look at that Houston Rockets series, and Dwight was fully engaged. And I think that feeds into the narrative of energy, keeping the energy going. So it may be that JaVale, this is a series for Dwight to have the energy on the court, and you keep things going and loose on the sideline. Who knows? 6 straight aggressive playoff wins comes after. I'm assuming is what it says. After 6 straight aggressive playoff wins comes a game like tonight. Oh, I see what he's saying. Yeah. So obviously the Lakers lost game 1 of the last series against the Rockets, and then won 4 straight, and then we won 2 more. So we were essentially riding a 6-game win streak up until tonight. And I don't know if I can consider any of the Rockets games super competitive, especially those last 2. But definitely last game, winning on the game-winning shot, and then tonight, those were some really aggressive games. So
Okay.
I guess the question is, not to cut you off, but I guess the question is that are we looking for the Lakers to expect that kind of aggression, or just make the adjustment to be the aggressor?
You gotta be the aggressor. You have to come out and you gotta be able to punch your opponent in the mouth. And Denver punched first, and we just didn't punch back for a long time. Like they punched us and got off a few more licks
I mean,
until we decided to punch back. And then by the time we decided to punch back, they just had that one haymaker, and that was those two Jamal Murray threes that were just a killer. Um, One thing I want to touch base on is I just got a tweet from somebody on somebody quoting on the one of the hype man tweets. My bad. He says Randy underscore BDA. Kuzma shot 4 for 7, 1 for 2 from 3. He was far from the problem tonight. Vogel just needs to run more plays for him. He's not being used correctly. When he starts, he plays much better. Not saying he needs to start, but try and get him some easy looks. Maybe start him. I don't know.
in place of
JaVale. Take JaVale out of the starting lineup and insert either Keith, Dwight, or Kuz. Probably Dwight, and then Keith, and then Kuz in that order. That's what I would do if I were the coach.
My assumption is that you're saying Kuz would be in and AD would slide to the 5,
I
or you
love
would
that.
keep Kuzma on Jokic.
You could slide 80 to the 5, but realistically, I would start Dwight at the 5 and just leave and just replace JaVale with Dwight. That's it.
Well, and it also depends on how much they play that zone. Because if you are going to play the zone, then starting Kuz is not that
Nah.
crazy.
That
Just to be
that zone
honest.
was just to come. That zone was just to come back. We're not going to start the game in a zone.
Well, no. I'm
I
just
don't
saying how much you use it within that game. Because they activate it at certain points, and they actually showed that in game one. So there's certain points where they just throw on the zone to throw off the offense of the Nuggets, and so obviously that's not something you want to do consistently. But when you are running that, Kuzma fits very well into that because he's able to switch easier.
Right.
Dwight can't switch as quick, way quicker than JaVale. I'll say that. But I think what you said with Keith to me, I like that idea over Kuzma more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it either way. Just as long as or I would love to not have to take JaVale out. Maybe if JaVale just played a little bit better defense, right? Then, but
But can he?
no, because Jokic is just great. Jokic is great. Jokic
Yes.
is great.
And
Jokic is.
that's something I think everybody in Laker Nation just needs to acknowledge, because what I don't want us to do is think that the Nuggets, or think because Jokic is not so much defensive and he doesn't really jump. You are looking at somebody who is really exposing himself as a transcendent player. He's becoming that guy who can make really weird shots. He is a very awkward game. But he has proven this entire playoffs that he has the juice. Okay?
Yeah.
Him and Murray are going to score. They're not better than LeBron and AD, but on certain nights.
Oh man, I'm just looking at the Twitter. Chaz, you were trash. And when I'm not calling these guys trash players. They would tell you they played like trash tonight. They didn't match
Yeah.
the energy. They didn't do what they were supposed to. They didn't come out and handle their business from jump. You can't play 43 minutes and get 2 rebounds. You can't be the primary ball handler and turn the ball over 6 times. You can't miss 75% of the threes that you take. It's just not going to happen.
Can't do
And
it.
then give up easy plays on the other end. So that's the bottom line. I'm not going to harp on this too much. I'm not going to beat guys up or try and punk them or bully them on Twitter or anything
No.
like that. That was all for the regular season. The rest of Colby, the rest of my guys, y'all could do that on Twitter. But man, shout out my man Cole, man. Shout out Cole. Shout out to shout out Cole, man. I missed that fool in Showtime form. But man, I'm not going to get too down about this loss. I'm just not. I refuse to.
There you go.
I was just upset, and if the people could see our Slack.
Oh man, God, dude.
I apologize to my Showtime Forum family. I'll be in there cussing up a storm.
Hey, man.
I'd be in there. I mean, I'm just at y'all family, so I'm gonna tell y'all how I feel. And
It would be the same thing if we were sitting in Staples watching that happen live. That's all I feel like. I feel like we would all be on the
oh
same
man,
train.
oh man, I was just so upset because I felt like there was just a moment that we could have snatched the
Yes.
momentum and the
Yes.
energy, and there was an opportunity for the taking, and we just said, we'll just turn it on later. We pulled the Clippers, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was just that mentality, like we'll get them later, like we'll figure it out, and like we still did that. Even we were down 91-71, and still came back, and and it was 101-98, and that's as close as it got. And then we just kind of let the rope go from there. That Kuz hesitation and missed shot
Bro.
was I mean, I don't want to harp on that too much and him specifically, but just that play and that moment, like I said earlier, that play and the AD turnover on the 3-1 break,
Crucial.
but trying to pass it to Rondo, those two plays were, I mean,
Crucial.
that's what did us in, but it is what it is. Part
Blake
of the
St.
game.
Clair said that play basically stopped the momentum, full stop. And then he was talking about the Rondo offensive foul with the game still in the balance. One of those turnovers that Rondo had. So exactly what
Oh,
you
the
said.
elbow on Millsap?
The elbow on Millsap, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was huge too.
It was huge, man. Anakat Mohan, she's bringing this up. You did say this. He said we were due for a loss, as Chaz said. So she's
due.
Yeah, right there with you. They can't be hesitant with the ball. This is D100. Shoot that mofo. So so with that being said, I expect, and maybe you can correct me, I expect the Lakers to come out firing on this next one. Now, with that also, the Lakers' bread and butter is not shooting. The Lakers' bread and butter is defense. But when you're wide open like that, I mean, even with Danny Green came out in the first quarter and was very aggressive. He only hit 2 threes, but one of those first threes, he just took the ball and shot it. And being able to have that level of aggression early, I think sets a tone, does it not?
It does. It does. I just felt like Danny Green, he tried. He really did. And it just wasn't there for him tonight.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, I saw it. I saw it in him. Vogel saw it in him. And it just, you could see early, it just wasn't his night.
Yeah.
He only got 4 shots off. He made one of them. One of them was a 3. He was 1 for 3 from 3. He even missed one of his 2 free throws as well. Just wasn't his night. He was a -3, had 4 fouls, only 4 points. He did have an offensive rebound and 4 total rebounds, but just wasn't Danny Green's night tonight. And as was, like it wasn't Caruso's night, like it wasn't Rondo's night, Markeith's night, Kuzma's night, AD's night. Like it just, when you just go down the list and it just wasn't your night, like I said, the games are, that's just part of the game. You just got to charge it to the game and get back up and try again. As cliche as it sounds, but this team doesn't cheat the game.
Yeah,
they don't cheat the game. They do give effort. So they didn't just let the rope go when they were down 20 and said, we'll take our 2-1 lead and we'll focus on Thursday. They did battle back. So like I said, again, that's the silver lining, and we don't lose 2 in a row, especially in the playoffs. And the Lakers are 2-0 after a loss in the playoffs, and I would expect it to be 3-0 on Thursday. So I have all the confidence in the world.
Faceless God on YouTube says this: the thing I don't like about tonight is it gave Denver that confidence. They were able to out-hustle on almost all areas, from points in the paint, rebounds, bench points. Can't let this happen again. And thank you for that comment, Faceless God. I want to just chime in with Chaz and throw this in here. Notice at how much, just look at the last 2 games. I want to just kind of throw the last 2 games into an equal balance here, because obviously we won the last one. We did not lose. We didn't win this one. So here's the thing. What Chaz just said was you were down 20, and you were able to get that game back to within 3 points within a matter of minutes. Okay, within a matter of minutes. What that lets you know is that if you can do that easily and that quickly, okay, that lets you know that you have something, right? Also, with the last game, playing one of our worst games, 30 fouls, 24 turnovers, and you still won. What you're seeing is that consistently what gives the Denver Nuggets confidence is not how well they're playing, it's how bad we're playing. And there's a difference. If we were playing great and they were playing better, that level of confidence would scare me. But if we're playing horrible and they're barely winning, or if we're playing horrible and we're still able to get within 3 after being down 20. That to me gives me more confidence in our team than it does in the others.
And this was the first time that Jamal Murray was actually great.
Yeah.
Like, he played okay in the first 2 games, but this was the first game where he was actually great, hit big shots. He hit a lot of those just hits a lot of those crazy, awkward one foot step backs and runners and deep threes. He's just, he's a shifty, awkward kind of player. But this was the first time that he played great like that. So he was due as well. And Jokic, played well 2 of the 3 games so far this series. But we expect a lot out of AD, and he didn't give it to us tonight. I expect him to give it to us tonight. LeBron gave it to us tonight. I will say that. LeBron, even though it wasn't his night shooting the ball, he still got to the cup.
Yeah.
He still was able to make plays. He was still, and I love the way that he was playing defense and protecting the rim. A lot of those plays, normally when people on weak side help, he was making sure to get a hand up and make sure nobody was dunking on him or anything like that. So even though LeBron didn't shoot the ball well, I will say him and KCP had the best games of everybody else that on the floor.
Not only did Bron have a triple-double, he had 2 steals and 2 blocks. And you can't ask more from a guy who's doing what he did. Now, there were some comments about him not being in attack mode and things like that. But once again, I mean, I don't think this game was hung on Bron's attack mode, as if you will. I think Bron did exactly what he could do. I think it really comes down to Anthony Davis not being active. I think it comes down to energy. Someone says this. Blake Sinclair says, I hope someone in the Lakers coaching department has all the clips of the showboating and celebrating from the Nuggets. And I don't know if I don't know. I'm sure even without the coaches showing that, the players are going to see it.
What do you? I mean, of course they're going to see those things. It's pretty blatant, right? I got a question for you.
Okay.
Would you put J.R. Smith in the game? You're thinking way too long, brother. God.
I want to say yes. Here's my issue with JR. My only issue with JR is if the game is tight. That's where it gets weird for me. I think if you're just trying something out, or if you have a good lead, I would throw him in there. But I worry about JR on defense right now. I do. I don't think he has the time that's necessary in Vogel's system defensively to be able to stick with stuff. I mean, we're already watching Rondo miss assignments. We're already watching, we're watching Dwight switching when he should not switch. There's a couple of
Rondo always misses assignments. What else is new?
He does. But even then, you're thinking about somebody like Rondo. Now, if you can tell me that JR is going to automatically give me at least 2 threes when he's in a game, I'd say go for it. It'd be worth the potential risk on defense. But I don't even know if he's going to hit threes, right? So that's the scary part. But JR, if he gets going, he's one of those players where literally there's nothing you can do to shut that off. You could double team him, you could whatever.
You just put him in a high defensive lineup. So like Caruso, Bron, AD, Dwight, and then JR. Like where you could hide JR just a little bit more by having a strong wing defender and Caruso on the ball, and obviously other side put Bron. But I don't know. It's just something. We're not desperate. We're still up 2-1, so we don't. It was just a question because Danny Green's played so bad tonight. And JR's just sitting there healthy and
ready to go.
Ready to go.
And here's my thing. We're not desperate, but I'm thinking, man, if you're able to get his confidence going, and you get out of this series, you go into the finals, having a JR that you can call on, who really is a 3-point specialist. Let's just put it that way. He's a bucket. He's a bucket when he gets it going. So if you can get him going and get his confidence up, because I think majority of what JR is talking about is his confidence. It's the same thing that's happening with like Kuz. I think if you get that going, that's worth unlocking walking into the finals, in my opinion. But we'll see. There's no telling what Vogel and that coaching staff's going to do. Here it is. Al Sanchez says, honestly, I think the Lakers look scared in the first half.
Yeah,
I think that might be a little aggressive verbiage right there. But flat will probably
what?
be it.
You're up 2-0. What are you scared of? You just blew this team out.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the energy came with they thought my personal opinion, after that game-winning shot, I think they thought they deflated the Nuggets enough to end their Cinderella story, and I think that may have added. And think about it: most dramatic wins, the team comes out flat the next game because of how much emotion went into that moment. And so I think now the Lakers are awake. I think this is like the game ones; it just happened delayed. So now you're having a game one feel now, and I think you're going to see LeBron coming up. I think you're going to see, and one thing you have not seen from LeBron that we've seen in almost every other playoff run that he's had is that he didn't go zero dark, but his intensity on the court, the way he talks to people. I mean, listen, JR said it. JR said, man, sometimes LeBron can talk to you, and if you don't know where it's coming from, you could be offended by that. We haven't really seen that from Bron yet.
No, we haven't. We haven't had a reason to. He's not down 3-1 like he was against the Warriors,
True.
A few times. Like, he's not battling back, trying to get back in the series. He's led in every series outside of game one, which is usually, like you said, a feel-out game. But good point that you made after a big shot like that, because the Lakers lost game 5, I believe, against the Sacramento Kings. Sorry.
You get it right.
After that shot, that Ori shot, and then the Lakers also lost after the Kobe shot against Phoenix. They got blown out in game 5, and then lost game 6, and then lost game 7. Yeah. So you're right. It's a real thing, but they did win game 6 after the Artest put back, and they did win game 6 after Derek Fisher's point 4 in game 5. So,
and I also want to just point this out because I remember watching that shot. I don't think people even realize in that game when Derek Fisher hit that shot, the ending score of that game was 74-73.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand how low? That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. That this has become much more of an offensive-minded league. And I think what I love about this Laker team is that they're kind of veering back towards that level of defense, where it's like it's not even about how many points we score. Can we hold them down? Tonight it wasn't about defense. Tonight it wasn't about defense, but I would love to see them come out. I would love the next game to be a game where we win like 101-88 or something like that. I would love to see something like that. That would be far more satisfying than like 140-120.
Right.
In my opinion.
Absolutely.
So let me get a couple more of these comments off to you, man, because I know we're getting late. The second unit in the second quarter was a problem from our own Chris Camello. So the second unit did not play well tonight.
Nope. Nobody. Like I said, I literally just went down the entire list. And no one except for 2 players played well tonight.
Trash. Yes. JaVale getting a chance to run more with the second unit would help his game as much as Dwight's starting. That's from Blake St. Clair on YouTube. I don't know. I never thought about JaVale running with the second unit primarily in the rest of the series. Is that a possibility, and how would that work?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to start Dwight, and you got to give JaVale minutes somewhere. All 3 bigs are going to play every game in the series. So let me reel back a little bit on my JaVale slander earlier. I would still play him in the series. I would start Dwight because Dwight's just bringing the energy. And and that's it. And I would just match him with Jokic with AD to back it up, and then and go from there. That's what I would do. And I would stop playing in this gray area of, I thought about, like he keeps telling Mike Trudell 30 minutes before the game that I thought about it, but I decided not to. Well, I thought about it, but stop.
Commit.
Yes. Stop this gray area.
And something does. Visually, I don't know how the stats would match up, but something visually looks better to me with Dwight on Jokic and JaVale on Plumlee.
Yeah.
Something feels better about that.
Yeah, absolutely. He won't do it, though.
No, he probably won't. Oh, yeah, Jason Jeter. This was a great moment because I thought this was for sure. KCP missing that 3 that would have tied the game when he was wide open on that. That also was a momentum killer as well.
I'm not gonna harp on my guy. My guy's made 45% of his threes in this playoff run. So, like I said, he was due.
Apparently, there's a narrative. Jason Jeter says, "How do you feel about the narrative that we should be down 2-1 and Nuggets have our number?" I think it's
Have our
I,
number? No. But could we
I,
easily be down 2-1? Absolutely. If AD doesn't make that shot and we
like,
come out with the flat energy that we did tonight, but you got to think about it. If we miss that shot, are we coming out and the series is 1-1? Are we really coming out flat like we did tonight?
no.
Probably not.
No, and we also have to do this. Like we can't allow narratives because the narrative up until tonight was the Lakers have the easiest path to the championship, cakewalk through the Nuggets. Now all of a sudden the Nuggets have our number because they won a game. That's crazy.
You see how the pendulum swings? There is no man.
And listen, I had to learn how to stop being upset with people like Skip and who else is there? Colin Cowherd. I don't get mad at any of those guys because they are making a living off of narratives, and that's fine. Run with it.
Literally millions of dollars. Literally.
And listen, I'm clocking in for regular work, so go run with that narrative. Go run with that narrative. That's fine. I just have the choice to go. I know what I see, and what I see is I have two of the most dominant players, top 5 players in the NBA, who are able to do damage. If they don't do it, it doesn't mean they're not capable. It just means that they didn't do it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I look forward to the energy. I thought they would bring it tonight. I really did.
Woo.
I tried it, and it just wasn't successful.
Bro, when I tell you everybody is saying no to JR, everybody. They say, answer that. No. Right. No JR. Right. Nope. No JR.
Just
the only one that can stop JR is Blake Sinclair. This is the great comment. The only one that can stop JR is JR, and he is extremely effective at it.
Yeah, he is. I don't know. I might try him though.
Listen, I'm crazy, and that's probably why I know I'm horrible at 2K because I'll be trying to switch those things up and make lineup changes, and I'll be trying crazy stuff. Saw LeBron do that versus Houston. He ran back on D, got on top, then yelled at Caruso to get his A back. That was from Jay. Yeah. LeBron did yell at Caruso during the Houston thing, and that was more about Russ because Russ was just talking way too much, and Caruso was sticking Russ. Man. Blake Sinclair says get back in the Mamba jerseys. I'm gonna say it again, man. I just don't want that to become the gummy berry juice that we need to all of a sudden.
No. If you see Mamba jerseys and again in this series, it's not a good sign because that means that the series went 7. That's the next time the Lakers are scheduled to wear Mamba jerseys, and I don't want to see that.
No, let me tell you. Let me tell you what Kobe would say. Kobe would say, "Don't put that jersey on until you prove you can wear it."
Right.
You can't wear
come
that.
out and you can't come out and hit a Mamba shot and play 43 minutes the next game and get 2 rebounds.
No.
What's wrong with you?
No, don't even think. You had the same amount of rebounds as Gigi's number on your thing. That's not what it's for. It's for something total. That's what's that. Jason Judy, y'all keeping it 100 per usual. Thank you, man. Listen, we're gonna end the night. This is what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna turn it over to Chaz. I actually told people in Slack. I said Chaz about to blow this entire post game up. I want to say to you, bro, I'm extremely proud of the way you came in today. I really thought it was going to be a nuclear bomb today, and you were so balanced.
I had time. Thank you. Thankfully, the Lakers just they didn't let the rope go.
Yeah.
They battled back. There's a silver lining there.
Yeah.
And last thing I'll end with is Damian Lillard is trending right now because they're reminding you of Damian Lillard dancing on the Lakers and what happened to him. And Jamal Murray just danced on the Lakers after hitting that dagger 3, and we'll find out what happens to him. I think we already know.
Boy, I'm telling you, I cannot wait. Listen, my encouragement for you guys tonight is you guys go to bed. Sleep ain't gonna hit the same. Obviously, it just feels better.
Not tonight.
Yeah, it feels
I'm
better.
I'm gonna turn a little bit tonight.
A little bit, and then tomorrow's gonna be a little difficult. Because you're going to turn on TV and you're going to see clips and the whole nine. Let me just settle your mind, okay? Let me just settle your mind. The fact of the matter is, and the truth that has not changed, is that we believed in this team when the office was dysfunctional. We believed in this team when we didn't even know what the rotation was going to be. We believed in this team when we lost to the Clippers on opening night and Anthony Davis had a horrible fourth quarter. We believed in this team for 6-7 years of horrible basketball. This is not the time to get shaky in your confidence. We are 6 wins away from another chip, and that's not going to change. All I know is the next time we talk about this, I believe the next game we'll be saying 5 more wins because the Lakers are going to take Game 4 and then hopefully take out Game 5.
I want to put a stop to that right now. I'm going to call you out,
Call
as
me
well as
out,
myself,
for what?
as well as the rest of Laker Nation. Let's stop talking about how many wins we have left until the chip. Let's talk
Okay.
about how many more wins until we finish the series. One series at a time. Let's stop getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. I'm calling you, I'm calling myself, and the rest of Laker Nation out. Let's stop with that.
I would.
Two more wins. Two more wins until the finals.
I would.
Let's.
I want to join you. The only issue is that the entire Laker team has a board up every game that shows 6 more wins.
I know, but
what you're saying is wiser. It's smart. It's smart.
We gotta focus. We gotta get this. We can't look past this team.
Okay.
And look forward to the finals. We have to. I mean, getting the third win. The fourth win is going to be the hardest, but the third win is so important. And if this series gets tied up at 2-2 before you get your third win, 2-2 is so different than 3-1. Just like 3-0 is so different than 2-1.
3-1. 2-1, yeah. Yeah. So let's make this compromise then. So we won't say anything until if we get to the next series, then we'll start counting down 4-0.
There we go.
Wins.
There we go.
Makes sense. Okay, there we go. So that's what we're gonna say. So from here on, the language is changing 2 to go, and then we'll change it to 4 to go on the next one. That's what it makes sense. That's what it makes sense. All right.
We gotta focus on getting dancing Jamal Murray out of here.
I can't wait too. It's gonna be so fantastic. Oh man, I can't wait. All right. That's good. So we're done, and we won't see you guys again until the next game, which I believe is Thursday night. We will be on Thursday night. Super excited about what's going to happen on that night because I really believe it's going to be a win, and we'll be able to breathe a little bit better. But we got to take care of business in the meantime. That means that tomorrow got to be a lot of film session, a lot of conversations that are happening amongst the coaching staff and the players, and most of all, getting rest so you can come out with energy and stomp these Nuggets back in the ground where they belong. So we can move on, man. 2 more to go. See how I did that? 2 more to go. Huh?
There we go. There we go. Last thing I want to say. I want to put the over and under for the remainder of Laker losses for the rest of this postseason at 1.5, and I'll take the under.
I'm with you. Okay. All right. I join Jazz with that. The prophet is
spoken. Hype man that. Hype man that.
Tag
it. Yeah. Set the over or under at 1.5 more losses for the Lakers for the remainder of this postseason, and I'll take the under, meaning that the Lakers will not lose any more than 2 more games for the rest of this postseason. This is the last loss until we get to the finals, and then I'll probably give us 1 loss in the finals. Is what I'm saying.
The way
for those of you that don't know over and under.
There it is. And for those of you who don't know Prophet Chaz, the man's been spot on. So listen, we're here. We're here. All right. So that means we're gonna see you guys on Thursday night, and then of course Saturday night, prayerfully, will be the closeout game where we get a little rest before the finals, hopefully. But 2 more to go, and we'll see you guys. Man, rest easy tonight. Remember, tell somebody that you love them, and as of course, anything you want to say to the people, Chaz, before we get off.
Just stay safe. Stay safe out there, man. That's it. That more than anything. Outside of, I know we get caught up in, championship and the run and everything like that, but real people are being affected out here. So be caring, take care of your neighbor, wash your hands, be safe, and let's try and put a stop to this virus so that way we can get back in a staple so AD doesn't have to shoot any more game-winning threes in the bubble.
Tear the roof off that place, man. I appreciate it, guys. You guys sleep well. Chaz, I will see you on Thursday night. Once again, thank you guys for joining the channel. Can't wait to see you guys on Thursday.